Like live? Like we're like live talking to the people live?
Like we're live talking to the people live. Hello everyone, welcome to Top Nation TV's EUIC rebroadcast rewatch stream. We're watching round 8 live because we had to watch Wolfie, and then we're going back through round 1 through 7. And in honor of these the great British people and hosting the European Championships, I'm doing a British accent until everyone decides to stop watching the stream. I'm joined by Alex. How you doing?
Yo yo. I I did catch round 1 live already, so I'll try not to spoil that one. We've also probably been exposed to minor spoilers as we go through it, but we're going to try to give like genuine reactions to most of these and obviously our own analysis as we go too. So, excited to watch some games today and see, did people cook for UIC or are they just playing it safe?
Absolutely, yeah. I've been on social media, so I have an idea of what the standings look like, but that's about it. And I've obviously been following all my fellow Tubbers, but I don't know how the matches played out or anything. Yeah, I'm excited to watch,
Right.
see what goes on.
Yep. Yeah. Right now we're just kind of waiting to see until they start the last one. I know a match that didn't make it to stream and kind of a bit of an unfortunate crime, but Wolf played Marco Fierro, I believe, in the previous round. But Marco was featured on the stream earlier, and so they didn't end up showing it, which is definitely a bit sad because Wolf is running Parish again. So it would have been hilarious to watch the Wolfie Cone Parish meme basically play out literally again on the grand stage at the biggest tournament in history. Actually, what is I keep saying that. Like, what did we end up at?
What do you mean?
I'm pulling it up on Pokédata. Because like some of those are gonna be no shows. Some of those were younger division. So actual players looks like 1257. Wow.
12:57. So that is just enough for it's 4 rounds tomorrow, right? I think it was like
Yeah.
1056
I
or
mean,
something.
not just enough, right? Isn't it the power of 2 over 1,000? I don't know what that number is. 10 something.
1056 or something. Yeah.
1056. Yeah, I think that sounds right. So like they cleared it by like a good 200 players, which is pretty awesome. I mean, I'm glad that they're working on it at the very least. Like this one still did fill up, sell out a couple times over. Every time that they reopened the waves, people attempted and still missed and still missed and still missed. But the fact that we're able to have tournaments this big is very exciting, and I imagine that they're continuing to strive towards bigger ones. And we're not even in like the best like part of the generation. Like what I mean is like early generation usually does a lot better in terms of like attendance and stuff like that. Usually it trickles off as time goes on, and we're still like killing it numbers wise. I can't imagine what it's gonna be like when we get Gen 10 in 2029.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be so much fun. I think the other thing that really contributed, I'm saying this, is that no one owned a 3DS, right? Like the 3DS era lasted far too long, and people just like didn't have it. They didn't want to, go buy a 3DS to compete, especially children. 16, 17-year-olds just did not own one because they didn't grow up with it. They owned a Switch.
Very specialized console for sure.
Yeah, and so as soon as we got the Nintendo Switch games, that opened up the market to so many people. Obviously, the pandemic also contributed to it. So many people just got into Pokemon during that time. Wolfie blew up during that time. A lot of content creators grew a ton, so that contributed as well because it's a hobby that you can just play in your house when you're sitting at home. So yeah, a lot of things contributed to it. But even before that, even at the very start of 2020, we saw some massive events. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
We got teams. So we got Wolfie with Parrish, Wolfie Con Parrish, taking on Calric Shadow Hyper Offense. So you got to imagine that Calric Shadow being immune to trapping has to be pretty good. But I've always struggled using Calric Shadow into Koraidon. I think that's generally a pretty difficult matchup.
Right, but there's so many parts to play in this matchup. Wolf does have the Flutter main that is going to outspeed it, but Otherwise, the rest of the team is, and I mean, there's of course the Koraidon, which is a very offensive Pokemon. Everything else a lot more passive, and so if um if I didn't catch our opponent's name here, but if they're able to keep Koraidon and Fluttermane under control, I do think that Shadow Rider just gives the rest of this team a tough time. Notably, Wolf is running a bit of a weird Koraidon with Life Orb and Close Combat, as opposed to like the Collision Course and Clear Amulet set we're used to seeing. All right, Gennaro is, yeah, running a bit of a, well, the Specs GU also could be a bit annoying. It has Terra Ghost as the option to switch out and to potentially 50-50 things. Ooh, Rain Dance on the Torn. Yeah, Wolf might have his work cut out for him. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Gothitelle Koraidon do well before, right? I don't remember who used it.
That's true.
But I mean, the idea, of course, being I think here that if you have a Gothitelle, you can kind of control when the Incineroar comes in and when it's in, it's stuck in, and so you don't have to worry as much about getting intimidated. You can control the Pelipper's, but Tornadus is definitely going to be a problem. Covered Cloak meaning you can't get faked out. Yeah, it's really hard to maneuver around CSR, the Chiyu, Tornadus, Urshifu. Those are the four that I would expect him to bring, right?
Right. Well, there also is probably a place for Clefairy, just if you want to keep things safe from the big attacks Koraidon can put out. You can always defensive Terra your Calyrex Shadow if you want to survive a attack from Fluttermane, but Follow Me is another option. And Rillaboom, I very highly doubt it's coming to the match. It does still have its utility, notably a Spore switch-in if you need something to deal with the Amoonguss, and it can U-turn out of Shadow Tag if you really just need to be pivoting, but still would surprise me to see Rillaboom come to this game.
Right. Yeah, I guess from Wolfie's side, we saw the Terra Normal Fluttermane, and I have to imagine Terra Normal is for this matchup, so you got to imagine he is bringing it to this matchup. Focus Sash also helping. But we just see Instant Shroom to start out. Yeah, I can't imagine you bring Gothitelle. And so I would guess Koraidon Flutter in back to try to clean up. Like you said, if he burns his Terra, then you just contest the Calyrex Shadow right away. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this Incineroar doesn't have knockoff, so it can't actually threaten the Calyrex with big damage off the rip. I gotta say, though, this is probably the expected lead from Gennaro. And so I don't know if they exactly expected this in return from Wolf. Instant Amoonguss is definitely a bit more passive than something you need to address immediately by resetting the weather, and you're not going to be able to take too many big KOs with Calyrex right away. The Mental Herb actually getting in the way here, because I think this Tornadus did carry Taunt, so that item actually paying off big time.
Yeah, we see the Amoonguss Terra. I think that makes sense because otherwise just Bleak Wind Astral is such a clean way to knock out too. We'll see if Gennaro played around it and just protected. And he did. Okay. Yeah, just scouting it out. Really smart play.
Terra Dark already burned here, which means that, yeah, Wolf can't use Terra for the rest of the game. But I have to imagine that it was a pretty a pretty well thought out decision, because this is a matchup that it's going to pay off really well in. You want to keep the Shadow Rider at bay, and so just being able to stop anything that the Shadow Rider is doing with your Amoonguss Terra Dark, it's so good for that. And so you're probably not going to regret it in the long run.
Right. This Rain Dance is also interesting, right? Because unless it was a hard switch, they just not going to stop the Koraidon from coming in later, right? Didn't do very much.
Yes. Yeah. So we do see the parting shot go into the Tornadus. I kind of expected Spore into the Tornadus as well, because it was a slot that couldn't protect, and you had two dark types in front of Shadow Rider. It wasn't going to be that threatening for you, but maybe you didn't want a nasty plot to get too carried away for the rest of the game, and so I wanted to just cover the option for it, I guess.
Right. Yeah, and now with the parting shot off, you can't even like a Terra Fairy Draining Kiss plus Bleak Wind should not pick up this Amoonguss. I think I assume Life Orb is to big damage, but this is also
Yeah, I
defensive
actually
Terra
kind of
because the Fluttermane has Shadow Ball.
missed that in the beginning. So this is Fairy Draining Kiss.
Yes.
Okay, Fairy Draining Kiss Life Orb. I actually think that this is going to pick up.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Oh, that had to be okay.
a critical hit. That's like still a bit tough to say because, like, okay, let's say Wolf's best case scenario is that it does 66 repeated percent, you know, because that's what 1.5 gets you to 100, right? Then the Tornadus has to do the remaining 33 with its Bleak Wind, and that does seem like a bit of a tall ask. I feel like maybe if the Tornadus is trained defensively, the Tornadus wouldn't get that one, but that's also in Wolf's best case scenario. If the Draining Kiss is doing something closer to 80 or more, I feel like Bleak Wind is confidently KOing the Amoonguss from there, despite the defensive Terra.
Let's calc it. We'll throw up a damage calc. Let's do it.
That's true. I mean, this is something we're allowed to do over here on our restream, you know?
Right, exactly.
Terra you can just use calc default, honestly. Just change the Terra and the move.
Draining Kiss, Terra.
But yeah, this does look. I'm looking at all these factors, and not to make excuses, and Wolf might still find a way, but he does seem to have found himself in maybe like a worst case scenario against Terra Fairy, Life Orb, Draining Kiss paired with Rain Dance, Tornadus. There are just a lot of extremely uphill aspects to this matchup.
If it was calm, then it looks like he would have lived it. He probably it might have been a roll because it does 65 to 78 base. So yeah, it depends on how Wolf is trained. I think most Amoonguss are usually bold, but the way that he played this matchup makes me think that it might be more especially defensive.
Right, with Terra Dark, it really makes you think that because, just maybe it's not any part of the Koraidon matchup, or not the Calyrex Ice matchup, which is usually what the physically defensive spreads are trying to accomplish.
Going to make things a little bit difficult. The Fluttermane also loses that photosynthesis ability as well, and is going to be susceptible.
All right, yeah, just that threat of that Rain Dance is so great. You have to just kind of get the Koraidon out of there.
Yeah, but like, what are you accomplishing in the meantime? I think that Calyrex Shadow, it's just the right amount of annoyingly bulky to the point that even like a Moonblast plus I guess maybe a Moonblast plus a Flare Blitz could have gotten there, but you have to remember that the Koraidon was threatened by a fairy type attack that it could not defensively Terra to avoid, and so on top of that, like Astral Barrage just going to do massive damage, and there's two other Pokemon in the back, so you know, even if you don't pick up the one shot on either of the opponent's Pokemon on this turn with that Astral Barrage, you know, whether the Koraidon stayed in or not, you've probably put enough damage down for anything else in the back to finish this off.
Yeah, but Wolf did get some very valuable info, which is that the Fluttermane, presumably max speed timid, does outspeed this Calyrex Shadow, so the Calyrex is a little slower. It's not 206 speed like a lot of these, or max speed like a lot of the timid ones are. It might be modest. It might be a little slower, maybe like 192, 193.
Yeah, Wolf, at this point, probably, like we said, just info gaining. I mean, there's nothing really left to do in this one. And I think this is something important to, like, kind of reflect on. I know that we've probably mentioned this plenty of times before, but playing for information is still a really strong thing you can do in a lot of different games. And it would be a reason not to immediately forfeit. But also, like, to make sure that you're not trying to, like something that can be tough to identify at a lower level is figuring out when a game is like lost. Like there's no like right turn. You don't need to like, you know, look at that fact that Wolf, you know, faked out into the Calyrex Protect and think like, oh, he should have targeted the Tornadus. Like, you know, he probably should have played for his opponent to choke and give him any chance to win. Really, the game was like just already lost, and some of the decisions might look strange, but that's because he's surely realized that, and he's just doing anything he can to like either cheese a win or get information.
Right. He's also just getting a knockout here because Gennaro has not revealed his back Pokemon at all. Right.
That's the hugest thing. Like, you can learn the speed stats on this Calyrex, but like if you don't learn the back two Pokemon, you need a very you need a very strong game plan for game 2 that can deal with this and surprise in the back. Sorry to cut you off.
No, exactly. That's you don't know. I mean, I think again we were kind of deciphering what he was going to bring. You can make some pretty educated guesses about how he's going to play it, but we did say that he could bring anything but the Rillaboom. So, yeah, not knowing that might impact the way that Wolf has to play this game.
Nerd mentioning in the chat that it's a no bulk Koraidon. Is it like 0 HP then? 4 HP EVs?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, Wolf is actually just one step ahead, and is running all of the bulk in defense and special defense so that it masks it when you're shown on the stream side. So that it's deceptively bulky. Everyone thinks that you're bulkless, and then you just survive hits that no one would ever think you possibly could. Yeah.
This is why it's optimal to not play in English, because that way you don't get put on the stream side as much, right? If you're Wolfie, because you get put on stream every tournament. You might as well play in Spanish or something, right?
Yeah. I like to be able to like read the moves that are coming out so that I know what they are a little bit ahead of time. But
I mean, 6-time regional champion Paul Chua would disagree with you. So
I know. Marco was, spoilers, streamed on round 1, and his Pokemon were in a non-English language. I remember, not like they were, because I think they have nicknames disabled, but the names were, I think, Japanese. And so it is like legitimately annoying. Like me watching it, and so similarly, if I was sitting across from him and playing it, like it does steal like a half second to like full second, I guess, of you knowing what Pokemon is coming in. Yeah, especially like I don't know. It's very minor though. Like it's not something that's like actually like worth it. But like if you're talking about like what's the most optimal, I guess it would be to have like Pokemon in different languages.
All right, so we see Wolf lead Fluttermane and Amoonguss. So both Pokemon could defensively Terra here into Tornadus and Calyrex. Now, the awkward part is I do think Wolf is forced to Terra one of them, and I think Gennaro is probably just going to protect again to say, what are you going to do about it? On the other hand, I wonder if Wolf learned from last game and is going to actually spore this Tornadus unlike he did in game 1.
Yeah, I feel like that is going to be the big difference maker here. We do see there's Protect from the Calyrex. Taunt into the Amoonguss. It's a 2-step process. If you find that worth it, then, I mean, if Wolf does just take the bait again and spore the Calyrex, then that works out great. But yeah, otherwise, it's a big ask to be able to get off 2 spores, or 2 taunts. Especially if the Pokemon that's getting off the taunt is just going to get spored.
Right.
And also the fact that the Tornadus is getting 2-hit KO'd by this Moonblast. Now, I know that Wolf is likely just running max special attack, max speed Flutter with very little bulk, something that you can afford to do when you're running the Focus Sash versus the Booster Energy set. But that still was just so much damage to that Tornadus. Kind of amazed me.
And now, I mean, it's Calyrex going to sleep, right? There's no 2 ways about it.
Yeah. At this point, and it's not getting extreme value on the turn. The Terra Normal on the Flutter means that even it's not taking any damage. Sash still intact. 50% onto the Amoonguss is nothing to laugh at, but you've got no boosts on your Calyrex. Amoonguss is free to switch out for regenerator purposes, and Clefairy is not a Pokemon that does well with dead turns, unless it's, running a move that some people like to know, some people like to run called Sing.
This is why you run Sing. This is exactly... Clefairy do so much more threatening
if you
here
don't have
that Sing.
Yeah, something I've been experimenting with on Clefairy as well in these situations is Encore. It can at least create some value on a very dead turn like this, but if you're running like the typical follow me, helping hand, protect after you, or sometimes heal pulse. The heal pulse would also be a move that could have its value on a turn like this. they had after you on their set. So right now, this Clefairy, the best thing it can do is just click follow me to absorb damage that the Calyrex is taking, or protect if you think that they're going to target into the Clefairy. But yeah, there's no reason for that. You can just focus down the Shadow Rider, make it Terra by going for Shadow Ball, and yeah, Clefairy also very enticed to protect there in case Wolf decided to keep the Amoonguss in and go for a Spore. 2 Pokemon sleeping would be far worse than 1.
Yeah. The other move that I think actually does generate some advantage in these games, obviously not as good into Ice Rider, which is a big part of why you bring it, but Icy Wind is very cool and would have actually put in some work to let this Calyrex outspeed the Koraidon if you got it off.
Right. That is true. Clefairy just going to be able to redirect both of these hits. So,
Yeah.
wow, just barely though. Just barely.
Now it's interesting because Fluttermane does have Icy Wind. It will pick up this Clefairy. Maybe he doesn't want to take a chance of missing.
Right. Yeah, and the Tornadus in the back has also taken no sleep turns, right?
Yep. It may as well be a dead Pokemon.
It's so difficult. Okay, this is a bit of a strange one to me. Double protecting to dodge the fake out, but yeah, I mean, we have the luxury of seeing what Wolf locked into, and seeing that, I'm not really sure how you get out of this, because Icy Wind likely going to finish off the Clefairy, and Icy Wind's not going to make it so that the Incineroar outspeeds the Calyrex to get off the Flare Blitz first, but Incineroar's not also going down to any attack from the Calyrex here, and so a Flare Blitz is going to do massive damage with the Sun backing it. To the point that I'm wondering if it's even bulky enough to take it.
You have to switch Calyrex out into Tornadus, sack the Tornadus, get your Chi-Yu Calyrex Shadow up, and see if you can win the game that way.
That's how I feel. That's
Tornadus
how I
is
feel
dead.
as well.
You might as well sack it here.
Yeah, my issue is then you just go down to 2 Pokemon, and then it's just like, do you have enough to win the game with those 2 Pokemon? Very tough ask.
Okay, maybe
instead trying to stay in and see if you can still survive.
Like Draining Kiss into Incineroar,
All
maybe
right.
gets you enough health back.
Yeah, I do think that the Calyrex has a pretty good chance to survive the turn because it will end the turn at like 90 HP, likely, because Draining Kiss heals so much, and Life Orb is going to take away the remaining. But yeah, this Flare Blitz is still going to do so much that, like, you know, how many more attacks do you have afterwards? Wow, apparently enough. Burn, though. The 10% burn coming in to just, you know, make it that much harder for the Calyrex to go the distance. Now it might be in range of just, like, one more tick of burn and Life Orb. Probably not quite, but, you know, then there's Icy Wind to get around any type of other attack, and the if you're trying to protect on this Calyrex, you know, you're on a timer now.
Yeah, I don't think the Incineroar is in Heat Wave range, but it would... Oh, it's Specs. Never mind. It might actually be in Heat Wave range. So maybe, you know, again, switch the Calyrex, sack the Torn. The Calyrex can't sit here and take a Moonblast, but also if I'm Wolf, maybe I'm just targeting the Chi-Yu. I don't know. Oh, it has the... Fluttermane has Focus Sash, right. So it's even harder. There's no way to get rid of this Fluttermane safely this turn. I think the game just seems over.
Nope. Absolutely. We talked about this in game 1, but at this point, you're just trying to play for a bit of information for a potential choke, but I see very few ways that Wolf loses this one.
The only thing that I think is... Oh, Nerd now says Heat Wave Burn, which is, I guess, correct. The only thing that I think would be really valuable info for Gennaro is finding out that this Calyrex is slower than the Koraidon, which I think is probably true, unless this Koraidon is adamant for some reason.
Yeah, and the sun fading away, so not going to be as powerful a heat wave this next time round. But the problem is the photosynthesis has fitted on that Fluttermane, so it is not going to be faster than that Calyrex going into this next turn. It will be susceptible to a Draining Kiss, which is going to be boosted up, but Gennaro not one to risk.
All right, well, using that Tornadus as fodder, like we suggested earlier. And yeah, sure enough, there it goes. Maybe Chi-Yu can make up for it with a Heat Wave burn in compensation. Missing the Ensign, technically, you know, okay. It'd have to bring down the Flutter to the Sash and then burn it as well. But yeah, without that, I feel like there's just nothing left.
Yeah.
Koraidon's going to outspeed the Chi-Yu. Flutter is going to outspeed the Calyrex, and
Wolf
you
is
even
going
have
to
an
make
Amoonguss
sure
later.
that we can't get through this entire day in time by stalling out the 30 seconds.
Right? Really, just sitting there, take a sip.
He's thinking about
Take
game
your time,
3.
Wolf.
I mean, like, objectively,
Yeah.
yes, you should take your time to think about what you're going to do game 3, but it's really annoying for us, the viewers.
Also probably pretty annoying for his opponent, keeping them trapped in a lost game. You know, like, I don't think it was correct for Gennaro to forfeit this one earlier than this point, but yeah, the fact that you're just, like, stuck here is probably pretty annoying.
Maybe, but
you're using that time to think about game 3 too, of course.
Yeah, like Wolf is facing a relatively standard team. Gennaro is not. I think that Gennaro benefits from thinking time more, given that he did the same thing in game 2 that he did game 1. Now, I guess, yeah, there's no info that you can gain from this either, I think. Just because the Fluttermane goes first, and the Koraidon goes before the Chi-Yu.
Alright, just keeping it simple here, letting the game end and moving on. I don't know how many Sun turns there were left, but...
It was 5. He let Sonic Spire and then switched the Koraidon back in.
Okay, yeah, then it was... nothing. There was nothing. Life Orb, close combat. You can calc that one, see how many Chi-Yus that kills, because... my guess is 3? No, probably, maybe 4. Would it KO if it resisted it?
Oh, no, you're right. It KOs 3. It almost KOs 4.
Yeah, Wolf using Goth Koraidon specifically. Who did he get that idea from? Using this team that has exactly 3 Pokemon in common, because of course you're going to run Flutter with your Koraidon, but...
right?
Yeah,
I can't
the rest
believe...
of it is so different.
And Gennaro, I mean, he stole a team from someone else in Top Cut of Los Angeles, because he's also using 4 Pokemon in common. He's using 5 Pokemon in common with Montana's team, so maybe he stole it from him.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we're gonna have to see, because it seemed so one-sided to start, and then I feel like it just was a terrible blunder of a turn 1. Like, you know, we don't have to really hold back on this version of the stream, but taunting into the Amoonguss was asking a lot. Yes, Wolf ended up sporing the Calyrex in the first game, and I honestly think that was a mistake from Wolf as well, if we're talking about mistakes. And I think Wolf ended up realizing that there's just nothing to take a Spore when the Tornadus is sitting across from it. You know, you could bring in the Rillaboom, but it's a pretty safe assumption from Wolf, if we can, you know, assume that Rillaboom's not coming to the matchup, Wolf is also going to assume that Rillaboom's not coming to the matchup, and nothing can switch into take Spore. There's no safety goggles. There's no protect. Rillaboom's coming to the matchup. Right?
You say that, but no. So like, that's the thing is, I also, when I was playing this matchup as the CSR player, would bring Rillaboom to the matchup, literally just because a priority move puts Fluttermane into range of your Astral Barrage. There's a bunch of things that you just barely don't KO, and if you just get the Grassy Glide chip, you can do it. And so, I mean, of course, I was choice banned at the time. I really do think like there is merit to bringing Rillaboom. It just seems like it's a very unintuitive way of playing the Koraidon matchup. It's hard to parse out, and so we'll see if he takes advantage of it, because you really do want the Chi-Yu and you want the Tornadus for sure. I think Clefairy and Urshifu are droppable, but like they're also really good Pokemon.
Yeah, they're not bad in the right position. I feel like the Tornadus has gotta be here. But it's tough to say. This is a bit of a weird spot to find yourself in because yeah, there's Terra Normal on the Flutter. It could Icy Wind you if you allow it to just get off a move uncontested. If you try to Astral and it goes Terra Normal, that's also pretty annoying for you. I gotta say though, I don't know if I super agree with this turn 1 from Wolf. It seems rather passive, and I'm curious if he's going to be able to get himself out of this spot afterwards. I mean, Amoonguss definitely in a happy spot here if it doesn't switch in on an Astral Barrage, but if it does, that's going to be a bit difficult to work with.
Well, I also think that, yeah, Gennaro could pretty safely fake out Nasty Plot here. And I think that's probably what he went for. Yeah.
There it is.
And then he can switch to Clefairy and Astral, and he's in a fantastic spot, assuming he can live this Life Orb Flare Blitz, which maybe he can't. Again, he has not found out that his Calyrex is slower than the Koraidon, but he should be able to figure it out. It should be something that he should know, given his speed stat. I don't know who knows their Life Orb Koraidon Calyx. That is also not something that I would necessarily have in mind. I will say, having played Wolf a few times, knowing how Wolf plays, that was if you've played against Wolf, you could predict that he was going to make that play. He was always going to protect that Koraidon, and you could have tried to punish the protect on Koraidon if you wanted to. It was just such knowing that he always plays very conservatively, that's something that you could try to gain some advantage from.
Wait, are we talking about matchup knowledge against Wolf? Is this my moment?
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
This is true.
I'm doing okay.
This is a dead Calyrex unless he protects, right? He has to protect and switch.
So, yeah, there's the speed stat and finds out the hard way that it's slower.
Yeah.
Life Orb, Terrifier, Flare Blitz. You can turn off the game. Let's go watch round 1. There's nothing left here.
Okay, Gennaro, listen. You know it's Life Orb, right? So, and I guess I know that a lot of Koraidons are slow, but you saw the Flutter main outsped the Calyrex. So Wolf knows that Calyrex is not max speed, not timid. It could be timid, but it's not 206 speed at the very least. Right? So you are betting the game on Wolf being Adamant Koraidon, which I just we didn't know that, right? We have the same information, except for the fact that we know that Koraidon has 4 HP EVs, which you should be able to assume given that it's Life Orb, right? You don't run bulk with Life Orb normally. I don't know. That's just a dumb thing to gamble the game on when you have Protect live. You can't get a safe switch into your Tornadus in any way. Yeah.
Did you see a clear out there? Because I'm trying to think if there was any way to break the Spore plus Flare Blitz pin. You couldn't pivot out your Rillaboom to anything because it gets spored on the switch in. But if you stay in with your Rillaboom, it's not going to make any meaningful progress either.
No, well, I said you have to switch to Clefairy and Astral. And I don't know if the Friend Guard would have given him the ability to live, but this Calyrex must have some bulk, right? It's not it's clearly not timid. Unless it's just modest.
Yes,
it's
got bulk. I'm curious. I mean, go ahead and run the calc, see how much a Life Orb, Terrifier, Flare Blitz does with Friend Guard. Does it seem survivable?
Calyrex Shadow. We'll say he's running yours.
Why not?
Yeah. With Friend Guard.
Don't.
Where's Friend Guard? There it is.
Yep.
Into Koraidon, Life Orb, Flare Blitz.
Give it a Terra.
Terrifier. Yeah, you still die. You still just die.
Yeah. There's we're already reasonably physically defensive there. You'd have to put quite a bit more on there.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think it seemed like... I actually just think there was no way to get out of that pin. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe you could say that the team had a bit of a Amoonguss weakness. Maybe there was a small chance that you can Woodhammer Protect and Woodhammer the Koraidon just to make progress, and then switch in your Tornadus to sack it to the the Flare Blitz just for recoil purposes, but
No, I really think
I don't
that
know. I feel like it was just not a Rillaboom game. I just feel like the Rillaboom wasn't it.
the Rillaboom was fine insofar as it forced the Koraidon to click Protect turn 1. If you're going to force the Koraidon to click Protect turn 1, you have to take advantage of that turn. Clicking Fake Out was really the big mistake, because if you're going to you kind of have to you know what's going to happen next turn, right? You know that even if he doesn't protect his Koraidon, next turn he could do the same thing he just did. You just saw him do. You have to be able to, one, infer that he is going to be Jolly, which is, again, I really think not a hard assumption to make, given the information that both sides had. And if you can do that, all you have to do is switch out the Rillaboom. You Terra Fairy, so the Flutter Mane is not a concern. Switch out the Rillaboom into Clefairy and click Nasty Plot, and you win the game. Terra Fairy, Nasty Plot, and you always win the game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, is he dressed like Brock?
I've seen this outfit on him before.
Is that not what Brock wears?
If you Google Wolf Glick, I'm pretty sure you see him in that outfit.
There's probably
Maybe?
too many pictures of Wolf. Dude.
There's too many pictures of Wolf. I know I've seen him in that outfit before.
He's probably
look.
worn this one before, but also look up Brock.
It's the Toronto Regionals outfit. It's the same thing. Just a different color
No,
flannel.
this is different colors.
Oh my god,
That's
it's
the
a
whole
different
point. Look at Brock.
Here,
I'm mentioning it
look,
because
it's
the
on the-
colors of Brock.
It's on the VGCpedia page. It's the same flannel.
That
Orlando
picture
Regional
actually looks
Championship.
like that picture is like from like 2015. I swear that's like so long ago.
He hasn't changed his outfit since that.
Does have a 3DS on the screen?
No. Brock has a green polo, and a weird like overcoat, or he has an orange.
I'm talking
undershirt.
about Image 4. I'm talking about Image 4.
Yeah.
Guys, go
that's a
back to the
vest.
stream.
That's a vest.
Go back. I know it's a vest.
It's
but
the same
like
color
basically
scheme,
The
yes.
exact same colors. The exact same colors.
It is.
I don't know. Chat. I'll make a quick poll. Dude. You guys got it.
I don't know. All right. Congrats to Wolf winning. Going into day 2 with 7-1. Of course, here on Top Nation, we are rooting for Wolf to make it all the way to exactly top 8 and then lose. That is the optimal outcome for all of us to obtain our Worlds invites. So you should be rooting for Wolf to lose in top 8 as well.
if you're in NA competing for a Worlds invite.
If you're in EU, you should also be rooting for that too.
Yeah, I mean a little bit maybe. I also think that I think that how do I put this? I think that him winning is just like always like incredibly good for the game. So if he goes on to win the whole thing, it's just gonna be like, all right, like another 1,000 people started playing VGC, like one win at a time. Not like 1,000 more people going to every tournament, but like, I think like it's crazy. Let's go ahead. Yeah, but I feel like, if we want to get through these games, if we want to get through this tournament, might as well just keep it moving. So yeah, definitely start putting on the next one. And now we don't have to watch at normal speed.
No, this is at 1.75. I'll pause it if we need to talk about
I'll give it 2, dude. Give it 2. I mean, what are you holding back for? Come on, max it out.
All right, so we got Robbie Shaj. I don't know how to pronounce that name, dude.
We got Robbie.
VGC
Robbie.
Senior World's runner-up, I think, taking on Marco Fierro, and what a tough matchup. He's playing Calric, Shadow, and Didi into Terrapagos. That's brutal. Terrapagos, Incinerilla. Good luck. Is it Shy?
So without spoiling the results of this game, Adi, I can tell you that I loaded this up, I saw team preview, and I didn't decide to immediately go to bed, and that was a mistake, because the pace at which the game plays when it's Incinerilla Shadow Rider versus Incinerilla Pagos, like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Well, no, it's like some people put on white noise, some people put on ASMR to help them go to sleep. You just put on this side, and it knocks you right out.
It's true.
I
gotta
really
have one every tournament.
Honestly, what the set really needs is Gen 7 grassy terrain.
So true. So true. That's just a buff damage, right? That's it. The healing is the same.
For sure.
Wait,
For those not in the know, Gen 7 Grassy Terrain, it did have a damage buff, but what I was referring to was that the animations were extraordinarily slow.
oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that as I've been editing like videos for older formats, and oh my god, the graphics in Gen 8 and 9 are so much faster, and thank God for that. Gen 7 previously was just Gen 5, Gen 6, Gen 7. They took so long to play out a turn.
I like the art style though.
Oh yeah, and I liked having spectator mode.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we've lost.
All right. So
Did we see the instant attempt a fake out, or was it something else?
No,
Something else. Okay.
Yeah.
It attempted something else.
So like the one thing that Calyrex does get to do is it gets to boost faster than the Terapagos. It doesn't help if it dies, sadly. And without Calm Mind, it will just be starting to die a lot faster as well. It needs to, like, the CSR matchup is take out all of Terapagos' friends and get some parting shots off into the Terapagos so that you just have more boost than it. But you still have to KO.
Yeah, no. CSR has to kill 3, and then Urshifu plus fake outs kills Riddle.
And you can't bring the Urshifu in early because you need it to preserve its HP. You have Focus Sash, so you get to take 1 hit on it. But that's it.
I just checked Twitter, and Adi, I retweeted your announcement of the stream and then unretweeted it to retweet Nails' because his was better.
Yeah, so my thought was that if you put all the keywords that they're likely to suppress in the picture as text, maybe it won't suppress the image, or like won't suppress the tweet.
Right. Fire strategy. I just like that it says ball knower.
I mean, Adi is definitely a ball knower, so.
True.
Yeah, we all know Rajan.
Yeah.
And I don't mind filling in some filler conversation, as it is like a game that, I don't know, you could have seen something close to this play out at NAIC, maybe even LA. Yeah, these are
13 to 1500s ladder for the past like 2 months.
2 months.
No shade at the
Last fucking year.
But well, okay, fair. Just different characters doing the call minding. It's not a Raging Bolt this time. It's a Calyrex. But
I have a friend who plays Shadow Rider Balance, and I was watching them play and call, and they like led Instant Shadow Rider into Instant Shadow Rider, and they were like spending time thinking about the turn, and I was like, how have you not seen this situation 80 times? How have you like not thought about how this is supposed to go? Like, I know that there's actually like just like a bit of like an RPS to it, and you're just deciding, is today a rock day or a paper day? But like,
no,
it was just amazing to me.
Differences between this position and like the million
All the
others that look just like it.
Yeah, you got to consider their GXE, because if they're like a 60 GXE Shadow Rider player, they're going to make this type of approach. But if they're an 80 GXE Shadow Rider player, they're going to do this.
Well, no, I mean, and you also have to like make inferences about their spread based on what their team comp is and like what that says about it. There's a lot to think about these positions, and it's definitely not just the same RPS that you played in the past like 10 games on here.
Now, I will say, because I'm going to keep repeating this, I might have lost to Montana at Los Angeles Regionals, but I did go 2-0 against Calyrex, against Terapagos, and he went 0-1 against Terapagos. So there's that one merit to Calm Mind, I think, is that it actually really flips this matchup. It makes it so much substantially easier to play.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Robbie,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how Robbie wins this. I think the game's over.
I beat at LA with Terapagos.
You beat Mont?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you might have been the one.
We were talking about. So I'm allowed to bring that up, and it's relevant to the conversation, and not just a pointless flex.
Absolutely.
So, Adi, I am probably gonna definitely like zone out again because I've already watched this one, but I will say game 1 has a interesting ending.
Okay.
Because I thought it seemed like a potential toss, but maybe I missed something. We do actually see the Pagos get picked up here, and so like,
Okay.
I feel like as a Shadow Rider player, you can't ask for much better than that. You know, if you're losing your restricted the same time they're losing theirs,
Right.
ideally, a big part of it is going to depend on what resources you both have remaining left over. But yeah, right here is where it gets freaky.
Yeah. Wait. Okay.
So there's
you have Whimsicott, which I guess Whimsicots are bulky now. They might not necessarily outspeed Ogrepons, because it's not
spoilers.
Ogre Sash.
It does not outspeed the Ogrepon.
Right. So like you have to. And does the Ensign have Wisp?
The Ensign is Helmet, Wisp, and Rillaboom is at like 20% in the back.
So, I mean, you can. This is actually kind of awkward because there's no way to actually KO the Whimsy because it has Wisp. It doesn't have Flare Blood. So you could protect Tailwind into Moonblast close combat or close something like that. That gets punished by a switch to Rilla. I don't know. What do you think the right play is here?
Yeah, I think go ahead and let it play because I think that's pretty much like the consideration.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see that there's like, you know, I think protecting the Urshifu is the safest option into like fake out Power Whip. And you just see that there's just like basically almost like a complete lack of choice. But yeah, we attempted to jet there. Moonblast into the Ensign is the part that I felt like was most questionable. But I guess it was to try to catch the Rillaboom switch in.
It also puts it in close combat range, right? Is that the reason?
It probably does. Yeah, there's no Stellar on this close combat because it's already been expended. Water Stellar is still there, notably. And then yeah, we see like another like timeout, and we just lose our Whims to the Cudgel. And we Surging Strikes into the 1 HP Ogrepon, and I was just kind of like, what did I just watch?
Yeah, Robbie did that on his own head there.
Yeah, like I don't know if there's a great way to win the game from there because the Rillaboom does just clean up the Urshifu anyways. But I guess yeah, you had to you couldn't let the Whimsicott go down. That's the number one thing because as soon as the Whimsicott goes down, you can't protect Moonblast into the Rillaboom. You have to hope that your Moonblast picks it up. That's the only way to really win the game.
It was probably just glorified RPS, but it feels like with the timeouts and the like frantic move selection, like it was like what's the opposite of gun when you're playing rock paper scissors on the playground? Like you just like just chose the option that always loses is what it felt like.
Right.
It was a bit of a strange one to watch because it didn't feel like the play was wrong, like we were covering for something. It was just like you got the guess wrong. It felt like it was just like an opt out, like opt to lose. But like again, apologies to Robbie if I'm reading the situation wrong and there's an aspect of it that I'm not seeing. But I feel like maybe it was a rock paper scissors and we just ended up losing it.
Yeah. Yeah, because like
weird ending though.
I guess the Ogrepon, okay, you could protect the Urshifu and Moonblast, and that would be Moonblast the Ogrepon, and then you pick up the KO on it. You take a lot of damage on your Whimsicott. You still have the Covert Cloak active, so you can threaten to Moonblast onto the Rillaboom the next turn. If they don't switch, if they do switch, then like yeah, that seems like the play that gives you a chance at winning the game. I don't know.
Did we see whether Urshifu or Whimsicott was faster?
Oh, I did not. I think it was the Urshifu. I assume it's the Urshifu normally.
In hindsight, Adi, I think you always win if you just double the Ogrepon that turn because
if Whimsicott's slower than Urshifu, it doesn't work.
I was implying that you could fake out, or sorry, like you if they fake out and power rep and KO your Ursh, you get the KO on the Ogrepon, and then full health Whim is going to beat. It's going to KO the Rillaboom, and it's going to 1v1 the Ensign.
Does it 1v1 the Ensign?
And then
Will-O-Wisp?
Yeah, just, with Wisp and Knock, I think it does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, we can talk about this game, but also there's like it's like another slow one is the thing. So
breaking down that end game.
But I definitely thought that end game was pretty interesting, and I feel like there was probably a more guaranteed way. But that is like some of the beauty of VGC is that like it is speed chess in a way, you know, where we're not playing every turn with 100% optimization and calcs and the ability to think through every single line. You have to think through all the lines that you can see in 45 seconds, and if you don't see it, then I mean, that, like, honestly, that is why we all collectively hate the finals being on the second day or the third day thing. Like, these are the more raw games, and like, yeah, we're like, kind of spending time talking about an error and talking about how it could have been played better, but
that's the point. Pokemon is supposed to be hard. It's
absolutely
supposed to be solve positions on every turn.
Well,
just
so
would be interesting to play then.
also, notably, we are at the point in the format where you have seen every team. Like Robbie has surely seen Marco's team before, some variant of it, and knows what he wants to do against it. And that's why, like, the early games feel very methodical. But the late game, the end games, is where you really have to show your Pokemon skill, because you don't get to you haven't mapped it out that far. You do have to be able to read the situation a lot better.
Okay, Robbie's definitely calling another switch here, which I'm down with. But he called the wrong switch, which I'm less down with. You got to get those turns right. That's the key to winning these bad matchups, is being right and not being wrong. Which is kind of, it's like a little bit glorified guessing, but also
Guess right.
At the end of the day, it is just the difference between winning and losing.
Crit on the Calyrex bringing it down to 3 is very unfortunate, because
we've already
this is
seen that Marco is the faster fake out in this interaction, so Calyrex is pretty much just cooked.
Damn, should have run Draining Kiss. We got some health back. Does Draining Kiss go before Life Orb? I think it does, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the healing goes first on everything before damage. So there's a chance to live, you will live.
All right. What do you mean this was a slow, methodical game? It's not over?
the first one definitely was.
Can we go 3?
But yeah, now a full health Pagos with an Incin in the back. I don't know what there is left, You definitely could arrow key a little bit if you want, and no one will judge
Crit the
you.
Incin. Wow. Double crit. Can't believe it. You got hacked out.
That's true.
Pagos just takes the CC to the face, and yeah, you can go ahead and move on to round 2, which I haven't seen at all, and I don't know anything about. But honestly, you want to pause those really quick, go back maybe? I know that you don't have a ton of time today, but I just want to like take a quick glance. Let's see. Shadow Rider number 1, Marauder number 2, everyone called it, and they were right. People were saying this was going to happen. Ice Rider 3 makes sense. I mean, those are just kind of the top 3 restricteds, and Ice Rider has been on a bit of a rise since the Tangs win. Zam, kind of makes sense. And I don't know, I feel like Kyogre and Turtle are forever locked at 8. I swear to God, every day 1, that seems to be their number. Maybe I'm crazy and it's not actually, but I feel like it's just been 8 the past several majors.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, funny. We've seen, I feel like the usage stats haven't changed very much, where we got the top 4 at around 15%, plus or minus 3. And then the next 3 are at 7 plus or minus 2. And it's just really these 7 Pokemon with a one small uptick in Groudon. I don't know, like it really just hasn't changed since, NAIC basically.
Yeah. Okay. Turtle was 8 last time, 8.5. Kyogre was 10 at San Antonio, so my bad.
What is this? Oh, it's just a.
Oh, they're just showing off the swag. It does look pretty cool. I'm excited to go to the internets eventually.
Yeah. Wait. Do we know which Ogre Pond we're getting? Because this is Water Ponds tournament, right? Do we know which one was LAIC? Is it Fire Pond?
I don't know, but I do know in the past they've done the same guy for all of the majors for the pins. I have a couple of Tapu Koko pins from 2017 and a couple of Venusaur pins from 2019.
Damn, I thought they were
Yeah, I don't know if
originally
they.
because they did that for
I thought so
evolutions,
too. I
right?
can't remember for sure.
They were going one evolution per internets, and so some of them were exclusive to like the winners and stuff.
They might have updated
Anything
it.
cool here? I feel like Fire Pond being as high as it is probably pretty new. I'm comparing to San Antonio, and it was 20% day one last time, 22 on day two, so 27 day one is definitely a upswing, and then comparing everything else, it's pretty boring. So yeah, I guess the only guy that I'm seeing missing that has had more meta presence in the past is Iron Hands. Iron Hands is out. Lando is in for the most part. So yeah.
Yeah.
And Fari's still there. Fari sometimes falls off in day two in favor of something like a Rock Pond.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it. Someone in chat said LAIC was the Fire Pond pin, so it looks like we're getting Rock Pond at NAIC then.
Or Teal Pond.
I'm
Could be Teal Pond.
No, I got to imagine their teal is like the base form, right? So they're not doing that. Maybe that's for Worlds.
The base.
Stellar Mask.
That's
So they unveil Stellar Mask on Pokemon Day.
People would go crazy. Be like, what do you mean we didn't get Legends RC?
Stellar Mask, by the way, its embody aspect is all stats.
I was just gonna say first. Or bringing back Dynamax.
All right. So
all right, yeah, you can move past this to the next round. I think there's nothing else to say about this.
Wow, these usage stats are so cool. They're so unique. I haven't seen anything like that before. Okay.
Oh, is this Luca Agati?
Wow,
cool.
this is
team. Wow.
That's such a unique team.
He just stole the Worlds team. He just stole the Worlds.
He stole the Birmingham winning team. I can't believe it. Oh my god.
He's just... Hey, that's different Pokemon. What do you mean? What do you
Where's
mean,
the Fire Pond?
You're...
Where's the Whimsicott?
Yeah, it's not. It's literally different. It's literally different. So stupid.
Oh, this War for Rigrath. That's kind of cool.
Race cars. It's not a speed sandwich.
So the cool part about Roar Fari is I honestly don't think. I mean, it can be an anti-trick room measure. I think the coolest part about Fari is that it is the fuck you button to these setup plus fake out guys.
That's true.
These Pagos, these Shadow Riders that want to just protect, switch to their fake out, preserve those boosts. You can't do anything about that. If they have the fake out on the board or if they're switching to it, either one, you can't do anything about the Fari that's just roaring you out and saying, leave, go away. Obviously, you can kill it, but, maybe they've got something else to cover for it, like a Miraidon that's threatening you with a Specs attack to delete you. So, Roar seems pretty cool in that sense. Obviously, it comes at a pretty harsh penalty. Fari really likes all of its moves.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to add on, but also the merit seems very solid.
Mm-hmm. The other notable thing is that this Iron Hands is running double fighting move. It's not running Wild Charge, which I think most of these guys run. Running Heavy Slam. And so you're talking about the Bolt Beast sandwich. He almost has that, but he doesn't even have the electric move on the Iron Hands for big damage.
Oh, isn't close combat over low kick also a bit of a funny choice?
It's interesting for sure, yeah. We've seen a lot of I think Luca's on low kick, right?
Yeah. There's definitely some upside. Like, if you're expecting a bunch of Calm Mind Turtle, that guy does not care about low kick. Mm-hmm. And it cares about Drain Punch, but sometimes you just need to murder it.
Yeah, it's a good call. We've seen how well Calm Mind Turtle has been doing this tournament, so.
Oh, and this Urshifu, this freaky one, the one that doesn't run the fighting move. It's got the Mystic Water with U-turn over close combat. And word on the street is that these players are also running Mega Bulky Miraidon. We'll have to see when it hits the field if it's like max HP, but I feel like it's like max HP, max special attack, low speed is what I've been hearing.
You talking about Agati or Luca? Or both?
Luca, front side.
Okay.
Because Luca's the one with the weirder Shifu, and that's what I know is paired with the Miraidon. So yeah.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and pull up the numbers so we know it when we see it, because I'm not that good with HP numbers, but let me have a look.
Luca had some bulk on his Miraidon in at Worlds as well.
No, it's just
but-
44 HP. Like, it's 44 HP 12. Like, it's nothing crazy.
Right.
Max
Notably,
HP Maridon is
Agadi
7. Go ahead.
Agadi is also known for running like stupid bulky. He ran like the really bulky Zacian that undersped everything at NAIC when he got second place. So he might also be running something like that. And yeah, we see him just take 2 knockouts right away.
Okay, yeah, max HP Maridon is 207, so this is very close to max HP.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely looking to be a bit tankier.
interesting. I mean, the mirror match I have not played the mirror match at all, but I gotta imagine it's interesting because of that Terra Fairy interaction. But you know, forcing the Terra immediately is also quite good.
Yeah, getting the double knockout there, though, like, yes, you have, like, Tailwind and some chip damage down, but I feel like Agadi's got to have the resources left to, you know, stall this out and eventually, like, reverse sweep it, just by nature of having more Pokemon. I mean, you could have gone down to 3 Pokemon there, but it looks like, you know, the Ensign was never going down, and if you don't target the POW, then yeah, you're literally taking 0 KOs here, which is worst case. But you KO the POW there, then Fake Out's active, and it's just not that much better.
Fake Out, ooh, and the Sucker Punch off too.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Veteran
could have
play
been.
from a-
It should have been a follow me, I think, from Luca's side, right? I
Well,
guess kind of.
Yeah, you can't follow me, Fake Out, Audie. You're so stupid. Oh my god.
I
Easy.
think it's an reasonable play.
Yeah, for sure, right? Like, I mean, Agadi could have also just attacked, so you know.
Well, no, it's just you want to progress the board state while your talent is still up. The
Pretty
team's gonna get like a big hit. It's gonna get an Icicle Crash off unless it dies that turn.
Oh no.
Damn, should have run some attack.
Okay, wait, I did not notice that. That's actually relatively noteworthy. That Ensign U-turned out. It's Rocky Helmet Ensign. So opting out of Parting Shot, this is something I've felt on a lot of teams ever since we got Parting Shot on Incineroar. Like, man, I've played a whole generation of U-turn Incineroar, and I liked that sometimes, you know? Like, there was a lot of times where you wanted to hit something for 1 damage to break a Focus Sash. You wanted to hit something for a bit of chip to put it in range of something else. And so, U-turn is pretty solid.
And you want to do it, so you want to be able to pivot consistently, even if they say switch in a Calyrex or something, right?
Yeah, or taunt you or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, U-turn definitely has some pluses. All right, well, did we see that it was Lucas, the Maridon was faster?
Wait, did we?
Yeah, Luca's Maridon was faster.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
We were yapping, so, but yeah, I still caught that. Yeah, so this Ogerpon is like -1 or 2 or something like that. Hands, it's also like literally -1 HP. Hands is gonna have to take Spiky Shield Chip. I think you go for a double Spiky into crit Ivy Cudgel. That's my route.
Yep.
I don't think Agadi is going to risk it side targeting on this first turn. That's just so unnecessary. The odds are already very slim. So you take your free chip here. Oh, Agadi, you're so bad. How could you fall for that? You're supposed to get every single play right when you're playing on stream. Let's see.
Oh, he got the crit!
No way! I wouldn't even be surprised if that's like a roll from there. Like, that doesn't even look like a That's why I said double Spiky, is that I didn't think crit even got there. Oh my god.
Yeah, I had the same mental calc.
What? Calc is wrong.
Damn. That's crazy.
Agadi knows he got high roll crit.
Okay, let's say it's literally Luca's Ogerpon versus his own hands. Ivy Cudgel crit is doing 54 to 64. This is a relatively, like, not that strong Ogerpon versus a not that physically bulky Iron Hands, and I can't imagine that those are. I can't imagine the ones they're using are too far off of that. That's really, really funny.
All right. Yeah, we did see that Lucas Maridon is faster, which means that they're both super bulky. Man, being the faster Maridon when you also have a crazy amount of bulk must feel so good.
Yes, right? I mean, that's probably the same way that Shadow Rider players feel when they encounter that.
If anyone in chat really wants to spot it, you can calc Kagati's HP based on how much Woodhammer recoil the Ogre Pun took.
Holy. I guess he's definitely EV'd for this.
Right. Living that Terra Fairy Dazzling, Specs Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam without Terraing is a pretty crazy calc for Maridon.
Although, yeah, I mean, again, literally just taking Luca's Maridon from Worlds and throwing it against itself. Let's see. The Dazzle is doing 110 min to its self. That's crazy. What? Am I seeing this right? Yeah. Even like 252 HP doesn't just directly save you. Wow.
Yeah, you need some split def investment too. Maybe he doesn't always live it, but he could infer from the bulk on series Maridon that he would live it. But I also don't think that's necessarily the case because he doesn't necessarily know that Luca is super bulky, given that he underspent it.
Right.
Alternatively, maybe he was just EV'd to live timid. Right, that's another possibility. Which 252, I guess you need a little bit of bulk for that as well. And then he kind of just got a roll. That's also a possibility.
I can't believe Agati just got tooled like that, though. That's crazy. That first game. Also, Nick, was Suika on Specs Pagos, or are you just saying that he's part of the Specs Pagos gang?
He is part of the Specs Pagos game. I do not know what he was using.
I mean, I saw that Jinshi was not on. He was on Ice Rider again, right? So.
Okay, it sounds like he wasn't on Specs Turtle.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not informed.
Wait, I think we talked about this earlier, and so I might have spaced. But was that close combat from hands?
Yes.
Okay.
It did half got cut.
Yeah, it did. I mean, low kick wouldn't do that. Low kick would do significantly less to Whimsicott.
That is so true.
All right, let's see if this picks up. Nope. Should have IV Cudgel. He would have picked it up then.
Very impressed from the -1 hands calcs. That mono's not okay. Have I mentioned that before? I think I might have.
Oh, I've got a video that I'm working on where I just complain about Iron Hands for about 30 minutes.
That's an insta watch.
What's wrong with hands?
My loop content for next time I need it.
What was that?
That's just gonna be my loop content for the yeah, just sit for 6 hours of complaining about Iron Hands on the loop.
I really hate I hate Urshifu. The premise of the video is like I don't like Urshifu, but at least they tried to do something interesting with Urshifu. Iron Hands is just a boring Pokemon. It really just isn't nothing, a ball of stats. That's it. And it's so frustrating that it's so good. It's also like uninspired. It looks ugly, dude. Look at that thing. It's like one of the ugliest Pokemon imaginable. It's just such an uninspired design. Yeah.
Dude, is this a double fake out turn? Fake out from big old hands to KO that Whimsicott with the Proto boost and the Quark boost.
Yeah.
Double fake out, let's go!
Yeah, but he still loses,
and
right?
Now, no, double fake out, and then you, as the old classic goes, you disconnect the IR ports so that you win on Mon difference or whatever. So yeah, Agati wins if the. Oh, is that?
Oh,
if it's Wisp, Rocky Helmet, Ensign, we might have a game.
Oh, it's not a U-turn. What did he drop for?
Okay, he probably doesn't have Wisp then.
Okay.
Ensign, you gotta go real hard here. Actually, I think it does win though.
It's got a hat.
Okay, you do live that.
Yeah, no, this. I think it's dying right now. Yeah, jeez. Okay, fair enough. The defensive Terra saved to the end, clutching it out. That was a cool ending. That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Gotti, I mean, really has played the set exceptionally well. Very unlucky to be onto a game 3.
I know. I mean, like, I respect both of these players, and I'm fans of both of them, and so I'm not really rooting for anybody in particular, but I'm kind of rooting for Agati for how brutal he got, brutally he got owned in that first one. Like, to be able to like compose yourself and bring it back from that is not easy, because like something that we didn't really talk about enough is like when you show your winning game plan, you want to be granted a win for it. If you simply put, I know that that sounds stupid, but to have your opponent, know what you did in the first game to basically create a 7-8 win, because Ivy Cudgel has a higher crit chance than normal, but you want to be able to like go into the next game adapting, mixing up, adapting to their adaptions with a game to back you up. Like you've got like you can lose the second one and still, go to a game 3 if they adapted better than you. But now you have to not only match their adaptions, but also not screw that up because you lost your security win to a critical hit. It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. New leads, though.
New leads. Big Dazzle.
No fake out.
But this could be
very content. I mean, no Whimsicott on the team, right? That's what he did, drop that one.
Yeah, he dropped the Whimsy. He doesn't have any speed control.
So like he's very content to lose speed control early in the game and take damage like this early in the game for the ability to do stuff later. It does just seem really hard. He's navigated it so well both times, but like this is not looking easy.
Are we gonna see a giraffe switch in? We do not have a giraffe. Okay.
Yeah, and so I mean, Whimsy is threatening the Chen Pao. So I'm curious, is this a Terra turn maybe? Maybe we see a Terra coming out? Because otherwise this is really hard to maneuver still.
No, this seems really, really tough. I mean, Ensign at half. The fake out is not going to KO the Miraidon.
You can throw another fake out into it, right? That's the best you can do.
Right, but now Iron Hands is in a bad spot because, you could get hit with a Encore, which is bad, and you switch into something on a Moonblast, and that's almost worse. Or I guess there's always the option to pull for Urshifu to make use of that last turn of Tailwind. Must be the Miraidon coming in? Shen Pao, I guess, for the sack. Oh, wait, for the boosted Sword of Ruin fake out. No!
Yeah, I mean, putting it in Sucker Punch range, but the Urshifu switch really good because now it threatens the with Aqua. It doesn't. It has Aqua Jet, right? It's Mystic Water.
Yeah, it's Aqua Jet. I do not see a winning line. Like, there's just too many resources available. Yeah, Hands coming in here is good.
So dire. Oh. That's painful.
We do know he lives this with the Miraidon. No.
Yeah,
it was a roll.
Not always, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, just a damage roll.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to imagine Agati with EV to live timid, and Seri is still modest, just not max special attack modest.
Maybe that's it, something like that, or
it could be max.
I don't know.
Well, then it'd be like max special attack, max HP, and he's still outspeeding Agati, so it's unlikely.
I thought the Game 2 game plan looked a little bit more convincing. Maybe the Game 3 game plan was expecting an adaptation when Luca just ran it back, and it definitely looked significantly worse. It definitely looked like it was really struggling with the early speed control that is gained from just leading Whimsicott Miraidon, and I don't know. I mean, Agati managed to make it this far without the Whimsicott, but Whimsicott looking really nice in this game.
made it all the way to 1-0 without the Whimsicott. I have no idea how Gotti is doing at the end of this tournament.
Oh, wait.
Look it up.
I thought, I don't know why, I forgot this is round 2. I was looking at the number, and because it was just kind of grady on my end, I saw 5-0. I was like, oh.
No, he went 5-3. And went
Wait,
like
he loses this game? Spoilers. Spoilers, we don't know that. Oh, battle's canceled.
Okay.
Wow.
Now the
wait
spoilers.
2 seconds, Audi. Wow.
Rough day for Agati. He got some points. He got top 5-12 points, I guess. Saw the 80. Yeah, that's tough.
Not what he was looking for.
You did not have good resistance either. No. Oh, by the way, Kunal, I gotta run this calc now. Kunal said that it was apparently a bold caloric shadow in the wolf set. Which now I gotta run that calc as well.
He's lying, dude.
He might be lying.
There's no way. Let's not rule it out.
I'm curious. I really want to know. I mean, listen, if you are bold and you switch into the Clefairy, you did live the attack. If you're max.
Is it a roll on that as well?
No. If you're actually max, you live it. But if you have any less than that, you pretty much, it's a roll.
It's a roll and also a fake spread. So yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. I'm probably gonna grab a snack, but I just want to see who we are.
For sure. I thought I saw Colin on screen. Neither of those mustache men are Colin.
That is crazy racist. What the heck, dude? White guy with mustache has to be Colin. What the heck? Dude?
There was 2 of them, man.
I don't know why we haven't canceled this guy already.
You can't put 2 white guys with mustaches on screen and assume that none of them are Colin. Like, how many of those guys are there?
Oh my god. We'll have to do a side by side and see if Audi is going to survive being canceled or not. Yo, wait, is that a rock pod?
All right.
Or a rock dog? Oh, they were showing a
replay of Wolfie winning. Whatever. Anyways, Paul Chua, EUIC champion, Paul Chua, taking on Juan Salerno, who I think won a regional a little earlier.
This looks like the 6 that Patrick Connors used at the Puerto Rico tournament, right?
Patrick had
I believe that's what. Oh, you're right. Of course, Patrick would have a Pelipper. So yeah, I guess one off. Also, all Cali Ice Balance teams look the same, and I will not defend the criticism 100%. But yeah, there's probably like obviously very similar elements didn't end up being the same way. I would say that the most interesting thing on the team is once again a no close combat Urshifu, and it's not running Sash either. The Sash is ready and available, but opting not to run it. Everything else, nothing too spicy. Amoonguss doesn't have Protect, which we'll see how that plays out.
Well, because the Amoonguss doesn't have Protect because it was Covert Cloak, which sounds like the team that won the Brazil regional, right?
Yeah.
Brazil, I forget which LATAM regional it was, but it was a Nice Rider team. Who won that? It wasn't Juan. It was who won that regional?
It was Juan.
It was Juan? So this is Juan's team?
Yep.
No, really?
Wait, yes, it is actually. Huh?
Right. I think it is. I thought the team won.
They all do blend together, but yes, no, it wasn't Water.
This is this team.
It was Darkness with a Sash, but it's the same 6. Same 6, and if you make it species, then yes. But if you're talking about specific,
it's the same person.
Wait, where's
versus. Which has got to be worrying, because when you bring that against somebody who's hopped onto a new archetype, they're always hopping to that new archetype because it beats their old one and something else that pissed them off. So they're why am I not using Shadow Rider? It always just gives me such an annoying time. I'm gonna switch over to Shadow Rider now, and yeah, we'll have to see. I feel like if I was in the Twitch chat during the time and they were doing the bets, I'm putting heavy Twitch channel point money on Juan Salerno. Do you guys agree? Disagree? What's your take?
Let's see.
I mean, it depends on what the odds are, right? Oh wait, I'm getting a bit sports better pilled. Yeah, Salerno's got to be favored just on matchup.
I think so. I think this matchup looks pretty difficult for Paul as well. I mean, in general, I found that the nasty plot life form Calyrex is really difficult for Ice Rider, especially when they got the Terra Water Shroom. We did see that Paul had taunt on his Urshifu, so that can mitigate that a little bit, but I think it's Juan favored. Yeah, this is just so hostile for this Ice Rider. Everything on the team is scary for it. And these type of teams rely so heavily on Ice Rider to do damage. We see a Terra right away. Ice Rider Terraing. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Ice Rider kind of has to Terra into Calyrex Shadow anyway, so you might as well do it in front of the Urshifu. Hello? Anyone else here? Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. No one's saying anything.
Yeah, sorry, I stepped away to get a snack. I did say I was going to do it
7 times.
You're good. You're good. Just like I don't know. I don't have much to say. He's just going for it. I think this is. Is he going to knock off as well? Just try to put this Calyrex immediately into Calyrex range, trading away that Urshifu. That might be Life Orb Astral range. It's close.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, but I'll trust you on your astral projections.
Fire.
Thank you, thank you.
You know when you're like peeling an orange and the skin just doesn't want to come off? That's what I'm experiencing right now.
Is this a metaphor or is this very literal?
No, very literal.
Oh, okay.
That's why I don't have anything to say about the games. I'm still peeling this orange, dude.
I love how instantly Paul slammed the Glacial Lance button. He knows what he's about.
Yeah, this might be 2 knockouts. Okay, no. Ice Rider did live, but knockoff? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems like Paul's trying to peel an orange and the skin's just not coming off.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I get too.
Interesting that there's a Landorus back. I know it does outspeed this Calyrex Shadow, but he did not get any damage onto it, so.
By the way, I didn't mean this as a metaphor. I meant it literally. If you looked at the player cam, Paul was under the table trying to open an orange. I'm not sure why that allowed that on the stream, but maybe the rules have changed.
Kunal asks, do you ever get to your 6th or 7th banana and start getting that weird mouthfeel?
Kunal, shut up, dude. Shut up.
All right.
He once said this while we were out to eat. He said, like, are you ever, like, 7 bananas deep and your mouth starts to feel weird? I was like, no! You've never been 7 bananas deep!
All right. Juan, taking game 1. I mean, honestly, like, kind of cool just prioritizing damage into Ice Rider, saying, we're just going to damage trade because I know that once you get below half, my CSR is going to be able to do whatever it needs to. And that was enough, right? Just what does Justin say? He just counted down from 400, and
yeah,
and did that with a Shadow Rider instead of an Ice Rider.
I'm telling you, like, yes, matchup is definitely playing into it, but I also think this is like a very good example of somebody beating an archetype they're very familiar with. Like, I have this happen all the time in practice. Whenever it's like, you know, all right, let's practice the Shadow Rider matchup against whatever Ice Rider team we're looking at. And we make it very hard on ourselves because we know exactly all the pain points. And Juan knows all the pain points for Ice Rider, having played it so much himself.
Yep. Absolutely. We are going to see a Terra Normal coming out from this Shadow Rider. So not wanting to take this knockoff. I did not see which Incineroar was faster. But I guess that means going for a nasty plot right away. And I think that Paul being so scared, oh, never mind. Just getting the damage off. Counting down for 400.
And knockoff is good, but you want that knockoff to be doing big damage. Otherwise, in most cases, you'd prefer to have gotten a parting shot off there. It reduces the damage a bit more for the time being. Obviously not in the long run, if the Calyrex switches out. Just does barely survive. Okay, that's like definitely very helpful. But yeah, still, your own Calyrex is so low. Honestly, though, a lot of these balance matchups do kind of play in a way that if you can trade your Calyrex for their Calyrex, Raging Bolt should be able to go the distance because these Firewater Grass cores can't actually dent Raging Bolt. So we'll have to see if Paul can make that happen. And sure enough, this Ice Rider is being rescued from the dead.
Yeah, but now without a clear amulet, it becomes so much harder to maneuver into the safety goggles Incineroar. So even though Trick Room is up, now Juan has an Amoonguss, Juan has a safety goggles Incineroar that can intimidate, and I imagine it's coming right back in. Yeah, it was crazy for me to see Amoonguss dropping Pollen Puff when you could see exactly how much utility it has in situations like this. Only reason the Paul is still in this game.
Okay. Sporing into the Shadow Rider. Now, because it's a fast Spore, it means that Shadow Rider does have a chance to just start waking up soon. But, hey, if Paul can get a bit lucky here, might be able to buy some time, get out of this jam. Incin going back into full, very good too.
And in comes Calyrex. We'll see if he called it. No, he didn't call it, right? But he woke up.
Is that after 2 parting shots?
After, was it 2 or was it 1? It was 2, right?
I think it was 2, so it might just be back to neutral with no item. So, not the most threatening. All right, this is also kind of a funny thing to see. I don't know how many turns of Trick Room there are. Maybe this is the last turn of Trick Room. But
I think this is the last one.
So yeah, you can protect this dodge Spore that way, but you can't actually fake out the Amoonguss to stop the attack coming out from it. So that's kind of funny.
Right. And feels like it's Paul's. This is exactly the place where Paul wants to be with the way that he plays. Taking that Astral, getting another Spore off, getting another switch out, Regenerator, Pollen Puff, Regenerator, Pollen Puff. As long as this Ice Rider can avoid getting Wisped, I think he's in a really good spot.
Right.
But yeah, the Incineroar, the safety goggles Incineroar is the linchpin for Juan because it still is the best way to mitigate damage from Paul's side. And we see Juan parting shotting, expecting a switch out from this Amoonguss. Amoonguss not switching out. Maybe going for another Pollen Puff.
Right. I think it's pretty easy to see the value in getting your Regenerator there. But holding that for a turn paid off so massively because now you can just Glacial Land. Paul clicked that way too fast.
Yeah,
I didn't even. I know we're 2x, but like, god damn. I'm surprised that was a super insta lock side clear spot. I mean, that's based, absolutely based. Especially because we see that the Amoonguss does this out of Trick Room. It's not an in Trick Room maneuver. The fact that it didn't KO either, incredibly sad though. It's not doomed. It's not doomed. Incineroar is still healthy enough that it can make things happen. And this Shadow Rider, I believe, is -1. So not actually the most threatening thing. You can actually, target down the Incineroar here. I don't remember, did we see that Paul was faster? I don't know.
We saw Juan was faster, I think.
We saw the Amoonguss interaction. We saw that Paul's Amoonguss was faster than Calyrex, so we don't know anything for sure.
No, I thought we saw the two parting shots on the couple turns ago.
Yeah, no. Juan's Incin is faster. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jeez, this is like it is like we hit the top of the roller coaster on like turn 2, and it's just been picking up speed every turn since. I feel like Paul has gotten like turns dramatically right that has just made it further and further and further, like just a win for him. I mean, it hasn't ever been like a complete lock, but like Paul is always just
was that a double protect?
I think
that was
so.
a double protect. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is why this is a masterclass in Calyrex Ice, right? You just you have to you're I feel like you're always a little behind when you start out, and you just have to find whenever we build Calyrex Ice, we're always like, we got a bunch of like 45, 55s. As soon as you turn the corner, you have to really push your advantage and find a way to win, and that's exactly what he's done.
Missing the Draco doesn't help, but I also don't think the game is lost by any means. This Raging Bolt has Snarl, which the 1 HP Calyrex should go down to. And even if it doesn't... oh yeah, we didn't we missed the Draco, so that we didn't even drop our stats. So Snarl should definitely kill. Yeah.
Also, it's
and the
Life Orb, so
Amoonguss
it
can't
just
ever
dies.
Pollen Puff.
No,
it got knocked. It got knocked.
Oh, right, yeah. Dodge?
Oh my god.
Another dodge? He needs another one.
This is cool.
If he dodges a third and like gets a double protect, then we're in business. Or one of the two.
Let's see. Fake out.
Oh my
just
God.
double protect. Okay.
The second double protect. Okay.
Okay. I mean, now this +1 to Astral does not.
Wait, did the Amoonguss protect last turn? Yeah, it did. You're right. It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
And it's just not going to matter. It's not going to matter at all.
This is hilarious. I mean, he opened himself up to getting the double crit for win. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I mean that's grinding for your odds. Like that's good Pokemon.
Not enough people play out for the 0.02% win. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't actually run the numbers. I just made up a number. But it did feel pretty slim after you start adding it all up.
Oh yeah, I needed a couple of double protects. Needed some sleep turns to go his way. He did get 3 turns left earlier in the game before trying to truly call it out. But
he also got a 1-turn wake earlier in the game too. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Instant CSR, Instant Calyrex versus Instant Calyrex, the classic lead. Notably, Juan does not have Will-O-Wisp. He has Flare Blitz on his Incineroar, so doesn't even threaten that into Paul.
Yep.
But I think we saw how valuable getting a knockoff into this Ice Rider is. I wonder if Juan is going to play it differently, realizing that throwing out immediate damage is maybe not as valuable as he thought it was if Juan can get into Trick Room and get his Amoonguss on the field. But instead, they both just go for damage.
Yeah, I mean, one did a little bit more damage than the other, but one had to use Terra. So I feel like that's a bit more of an equal trade. We'll have to see. Calyrex didn't die to this last time. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the Ensign just targeted the Calyrex with an attack, then that's a very lopsided game already. I mean,
maybe
I talked about it before, but the game is just one big tipping point. Like, you just KO the Calyrex. Not only is that like the obvious, like, yeah, you lost your restricted, that you're gonna have less damage options. But even if Paul loses his Calyrex at this point, I think it's just Raging Bolt. Like these two plus Amoonguss, they very slowly damage a Raging Bolt, and yeah, like close combat plus Sludge Bomb could maybe add up, but it's not like Paul's without tools. You know, Intimidate from the Incineroar, Pollen Puff from the Amoonguss. You're going to be able to just shrug that off.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even going for Flare Blitz, going for knockoff. So, yeah, not picking up the Amoonguss. Amoonguss is just going to tank those attacks. I was surprised Swan didn't have like a Rillaboom in back to try to punish the Terra Water. He played really aggressively. And yeah, just didn't. Like, if you make those plays, it's like you can't switch out. But he had to switch out as well. He could have just switched out the Calyrex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not seeing a way for anything to do anything damage. I mean, you can get some critical hits. Draco just one-shotting that thing because it's not even Sash. covering for the Amoongus, I guess, to get a little more damage on it if it comes in, but no, this one's over. You can probably arrow through this one because it is just it is going to be like a couple of like carefully, or yeah, an immediate. Like, it would be a couple of carefully played turns from Paul to like, and you know, like some spores could come out, but it's not going to sway the outcome, you know.
Yeah, was that Choppa?
I do know who that person is.
Is that Colin?
Yeah, that's got to be Colin.
Offensive play style and something that I hope to catch people off guard with.
I mean, we've got to see a little bit more Kyogre.
Choppa using Kyogre, apparently.
I won't ask about other perks of the team, but you think like overall you still have enough of a surprise factor?
I think so. It's funny you should mention I actually used Groudon in my last regional. I felt like, you know what? I think this Pokemon actually struggles a little bit against any competition from using Rain really well. Maybe I want to just become the Rain user this time.
I mean, you got 2 wins under your belt, so hopefully that keeps on going. So we have the largest event here for your
He was 2-1 at this point.
So how has that been for you? I mean,
He did not start out super
Yeah,
hot,
it's
but I
really
think he did really
exciting.
well
So big. I
at the
played
end
in,
of the day.
you know, really all the European events I've been massive now that I thought about. Only ever come out for the internationals, and even like the first one I went to
He did make
years
it
ago
through
now.
day
Wow,
two.
that's a crazy number to say. Even that one
Made
was
it
really
to day
exciting.
two. That's pretty good.
Really exciting about.
Did he go X1?
You're at the point now still. I mean, you've been a top trader for
He
so long.
went,
You have
yeah.
these types of events still are yours.
6-2.
So,
Oh, without a doubt. I never know exactly how I'm going to do going in, but that's part of the fun. Just seeing like, you know, what can I
All
put
right.
together with the team.
You're scrolling. I feel like this is probably the worst tournament to do that, like factually, because there are like more people that have made day 2 than any other tournament before.
That's true. I was just looking at the 7-1s. I was not going to scroll through all the 6-2s. All right, yo.
In day 2.
We got Torviv taking on Davide Miraglai, who I think won he did really well at one of these regional special events. I know this guy. I definitely know this guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the username. If anybody could jog my memory with that one.
Oh, I found it. He won Dortmund. He won Dortmund.
There we go. There we go.
In Reg H.
Oh, yeah.
And so looks like Torviv still on the Ice Rider train, this time using the version that Navjeet used to top cut the World Championships, which I have a tea report for on my channel. I bet that's where he got the tea from. And on the other hand, we have Davide using standard. I guess there's a couple different San Vicente versions, but I think this is this is bar for bar. I think the team that Navjeet used.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
And this
note.
is the Snow team, right? The Snow who top cut
Yes.
VR with this, 1 VR with this.
Dude, I gotta say, I figured out the solution to this team that everybody else figured out, but before it was figured out, I did figure it out independently. They had Rillaboom over the cornerstone on this team in the original version, and the team struggled to hit fire types. So eventually I was just like, in some of my coaching sessions, I was like, oh, if you like this team, put on cornerstone. And then sure enough, everybody else started doing it. Again, I don't think it was a hard conclusion to draw. It's more of just like a small pat on the back to myself, like, yeah, you found the answer that everybody else did too. Good job.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that I
I've
saw.
not seen day 2 usage stats yet, Typhlosion, because I don't think we have the teams yet, so we'll have to wait on that a little bit.
But so generally speaking, Zamazenta has a positive matchup into Ice Rider. Of course, Victor has the Landorus to help with that a little bit. So he has some tools to equalize it. He has the Regieleki potentially could help with that. And Zama does have to power through with this Rock Pond as well. So he has some tools, but just going for a Protect, Spiky Shield, and just losing his Calyrex turn
I'll be honest. I did this exact one myself the other day, and like it doesn't work. I was like screaming at the TV right now here watching this replay. Like, don't do this. They never fall for it. Like, they're not going to give you that Spiky Shield damage. And
I think we might be going to game 2. I think.
I mean, if you want to get through more games, Adi, you're allowed to like arrow through some of these turns, but you know, we also do want to like talk about. I guess you can see if there's a chance, but my issue, I want to talk about like a bit of a broader thing. I mean, we do have Terra Poison on the Lando, so that definitely helps, but yeah, I've always felt that Landorus is a bit of a poor missing is not going to help you. I've always disliked it as a Zamazenta response because they're always packing Icy Wind, they're always packing a Chien Pao. And if you defensively Terra on the Lando, like Poison is probably one of the best ones you can get. But even still, like you're going to take a lot of damage from an ice-type attack like from Chien Pao again, and Body Press is still going to do reasonable damage if it's backed by a Sword of Ruin. If you're the Choice Scarf one, that's not good enough. If you're the, Life Orb one, you're going to be too slow. Maybe Regieleku's here to make up for that, but it's never that simple.
Okay, you got the crit.
Critical hit.
I know the Aleki outspeeds the Chen Pao, but he does have wide guard still. I think that just kind of threatened a knockout here as well. Oh, right, the IC win just gave it the ability to outspeed. Isn't it crazy that Regieleki is just not fast enough anymore?
It is funny. I mean, like, the speed stealing just keeps going up and up and up and up.
They gotta release an electric type with priority, man.
God, this is the other thing. Is like, I hate Fluttermane just as much as I hate Iron Hands. That's my other take. It's just like, man, stop. Every single Paradox Pokemon does the same thing. They all just are booster speed, except for Iron Hands, which is just a big stat ball. Iron Jugulus, Iron Valiant, Fluttermane, just fucking.
They are all stat blobs.
And they all play the same.
They're just different type of stat blobs. It's the least interesting type of Pokemon design.
All right, game 2. This time, no Rock Pond. See an Urshifu on lead instead. And Davide, why would he ever switch it up from what worked so well? Game 1. See if maybe we see a Protector. We see something switch. We see them mix it up.
I was just set something very funny, Adi. So I guess slight spoilers for what's coming up ahead. Mm-hmm. But 181 people moved on. And that does mean that there has to be a 181st, and it was none other than Aaron Traylor, who had the weakest strength of schedule in the biggest tournament we've ever seen. It was just very funny. Like, he's got like a 46 down there. Like, he's tied with somebody else. He actually lost on tiebreaker to somebody.
Oh, teams are up, by the way.
Teams,
you know what?
Refresh this page, Adi.
That's not a bad. I don't know. That's not a bad resistance either. He lost his round 2 and 5. That's not unreasonable. I guess his opponents just didn't get wins afterwards either. Oh, we do have teams. They are.
Shit.
Cool.
All right, well, that's a good distraction for later. I say we keep sticking with the games, but maybe we can, if we have any questions or if people mention anything cool, we can pull them up.
Okay. And I was watching your anecdote and not paying attention, but it looks like it was attacked on Urshifu. Got an attack off on Calyrex and a big old Glacial Lance coming out.
Wait, did we just lead Urshifu and make the same turn 1? But they just didn't double into the Calyrex?
Yeah.
I mean, like, so that is the beauty of Pokemon, is sometimes at the highest level, you are supposed to just be like, yes, I'm that stupid, go ahead and punish me. And they never do, because, it's
I mean, you have to cover for their entire range, and, like...
Yeah.
It's just hard to cover for it. Oof, that's...
And, of course, I'm saying that in a very dismissive way. Of course, Torviv isn't saying he's stupid. He's saying that, he realizes there's uncertainty. That's what Nick's saying. And so... But I like to dumb it down to make it sound funnier, because it's just like... You're playing against a little kid in rock, paper, scissors, and you beat them, and then, like, of course they're going to switch to the one that just beats them, but you're like, no, I just play rock every single time, and...
Rock, man.
And then they're like, why did you throw rock again? Didn't you know that I was gonna... you're so stupid! And it's like, who's stupid, me or you, buddy?
Miss the sense here, get the boost.
Close. Yeah, this is looking absolutely rough, and this is kind of hilarious to see after... Now, I don't remember what exact team they brought to... Wait, did the Mario Brothers go to Birmingham?
I don't know.
I can't remember. But I know that at Worlds, they brought a Cali Ice team that featured like some of the same Pokemon, Fari and the like, and they just had no Zama matchup and dodged it for the most part. And here they are again, just with a Cali Ice team that has no Zama matchup, and dodging it would look preferable to what we're seeing here on stream. I feel like Terra on Ogerpon Rock is like one of the most like flex Terras, because it does give up like a really major resource in Sturdy. But usually you're doing it when you're like so far ahead that like it's going to like you probably don't need to do it to win, but like you just can do it to win faster.
Right. There's definitely times where you need to do it to win. Losing the grass typing is sometimes valuable. Getting the defense boost comes up occasionally, but yeah, I think most of the time.
No, I'm gonna be a little bit dismissive and say that like it is just very rare.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny. I remember I forgot which team it was using. I was using a team with Rockpon on it right after it came out, rank E or something, and I gave it to a friend in an Austin local who doesn't really play that much anymore. And I told him, number one rule is never tear the rock pawn. There are so many cases where it looks tempting, it's never correct. And then, of course, in the win and in match, I looked at it and I said, oh, I guess I have to tear the rock pawn no in this game. And he was watching and I was like, you told me not to do that. What do you mean you just did that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's one of the main ones is Kali Ice gets dunked by Terra Rockpon.
Yeah, that is the big one.
Yeah.
So if there's ever a match to do it, it would be this one for sure. They're literally dancing. This is crazy.
I gotta know what's happening. What are they doing?
Right.
I enjoyed that music just as much as we did.
They're just dancing on when the return. Audie, you didn't see any of the opening ceremony.
No, I did not.
There was like a whole British band, like so funny. They went offline for a bit. Is that what everybody's happening? They were dancing because they were back? Okay.
I love that for every internet, they try to take some local culture and, infuse it. They had the brass band at NAIC, had the Hawaiian dancers at World, stuff like that. At London, they're like, what the fuck can we do? What is British culture?
There's nothing.
Like Indian music?
Stolen valor?
Whoever they colonized.
Hell yeah. Big fan of London.
All right.
I had a great time the first time I went.
Indian culture for London.
So I do know how this game ends because I saw it on Twitter. Just play Pokemon tweeted at Jody.
No. Tough. All right, but yeah, so Joe's running, and he had experimented with a bit of this before the World Championships. I can't remember if this is like close to what he brought to Worlds or not, but I know that he was trying out like Grimmsnarl Screens versions of Miraidon, and I know that he had Ditto, maybe at like NAIC or something. Volcarona's been there. It's basically just like not your standard Miraidon team, and he's been using stuff like that for a little bit, for a couple of tournaments.
Yeah. So we see Jody on the Nevermelt ice, on the Calyrex ice, which is pretty cool to see. I think
Love cheating in a matchup that you don't get punished for.
I think that it's interesting that Joe's on Ditto. I think that Pokemon is not really seen as much play as it should. It's just very strong and single restricted. It gives you a second restricted sometimes.
Right. What did the Grimmsnarl go for? Did we see?
Foul play?
Did it not go for Reflect? It went for Foul Play, expecting maybe like a Trick Room Glacial trying to catch some greed. The Reflect there probably could have been pretty nice, but yeah. Reflect, of course, going to last longer into the game now that you're clicking it delayed, but I don't know. Reflect might not exactly compensate for a +1 attack boost that is going to help overcome it.
Exactly compensate for a +1?
It does exactly compensate for it.
Not in the long run, though. Because in the long run, that +1's going to become a +2 and then more. But yes, maybe mathematically.
Yeah, and this Ivy Cudgel's going to crit too, so it's not going to matter.
In the long run, it might be a short run, because this is looking pretty tough. Yeah. The double redirection with Psychic Terrain does really help things out.
So not redirecting.
Sorry, double redirection with Psychic Terrain early, but yes.
Yeah, not redirecting that attack. I mean, Joe could have just gone for a Electro Drift and tried to pick up, but respecting it a little too much, going for Dazzling Gleam and instead getting really heavily punished with the Ivy Cudgel Trick Room.
Right. But yeah, I don't know if this Glacial's picking up Miraidon yet. Nope. There you go. And the Urshifu was slower than the Ogerpon, which kind of is to be expected in Trick Room. Dazzling Gleam going to pick up. And yeah, I'm not 100% certain that this leads to a win. Landorus does still have defensive Terra, so maybe it can take it. Of course, I feel like Joe is going to read this and go for like a close combat, maybe.
What?
Oh, the Swords Dance comes out. It's slower. Wait, does Joe have close combat? I can't remember what was dropped. Is it double water, maybe?
Wait, I'm also confused about the choice to Swords Dance. Or, sorry, to not Sanseer. Like, did Sanseer not pick both up?
Oh, no,
he must have close combat. He must have close combat then, right?
I think it's Swords Dance close combat. That's why he's trying to, like, 50-50 it. Unfortunately, the Terra Mind Games didn't work out. And Polion made day 2? No way. Oh my god.
Yo, the replay of a Gotti. night, I gotta see the replay. Yeah!
Yeah! That's not good.
All right, game 2. We see same leads, I think. No, Joe did not lead Miraidon last game.
Man, Suika 8-0. Oh, that's crazy. Yin nails. It was not Terapagos, by the way. I don't know if you found that out earlier, but
and also I said same leads last time. Jody led the Indeedee as well. So what do I know? Totally different leads. All these redirection Pokemon, they're all the same. I mean,
what happened on the first turn? Was it like Reflect and then an attack into Ogerpon's Protect?
Attack into Ice Rider's Protect and then Ivy Cudgel into Miraidon.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Lando switching in on the Volt Switch very well. Foul Play not doing as much as it would do to an Ice Rider, but still a pretty good amount to Landorus. I know that Landorus doesn't have like a very lackluster attack stat. But yeah, just keeping this Miraidon trapped in, forcing it to manually switch is really, really crazy. And a very good start for Jody again. I mean, I felt like game 1 started off really well too, and you know I guess Grimmsnarl teams are a bit of a comeback from behind type approach because you get up your screens and then your Pokemon are unkillable, and that's really like the end goal. So yeah, we'll have to see if that's just what a rewrite of game 1. A Rhydon with 7-1? Oh my god.
Okay. So we see T-Wave going into Psychic Terrain, and then Surging Strikes into the Rocky Helmet. Really not expecting this Indeedee switch, and getting really heavily punished by it at least.
Right.
But it does live. It does live.
Yeah, and now without like any ability to control the terrain, this is going to be really, really difficult. Landorus, or the Ditto copying Landorus is pretty funny though, because it copies its base typing. It's quite a good switch into Landorus. Of course, if you Sludge Bomb it, it's gonna break the sash on the way in, so still kind of one step ahead there. But yeah, if this Ditto wins the speed tie, this could be quite messy.
Yeah.
It does not.
Does not. And I mean, I guess it didn't really matter, right? Because Landorus lived it.
Yes.
Same outcome.
Definitely.
This looks like Jody's game. I mean, Foul Play plus Sanseer is going to do a chunk, but
defensive Terra still available to Joe. Terra normal might mean that, yeah, even though it's never melt ice and this is resisted, Reflect, I think that's going to be enough for it to live. Glacial Lance, will it be able to take out the Grimmsnarl? Also, was that another speed tie win for Jody? Because I think if he didn't get off, the Grimmsnarl would have lived. So
Yeah.
that one, the first one we talked about it not mattering, but that one definitely helped.
The Rock Pond might have been able to clean up the game from there,
Right.
because of Psychic Train. I don't know. It's interesting. Araquanid, Thunderous, Tinkaton, Slowbro, Rayquaza also in day 2. And Rhydon. I think Rhydon is just legit. I legitimately think that Pokemon is good. It's usable at the very least. Never going to be top 12, but it's usable.
I've got a fun team to play Guess the Restricted with for after this set.
Okay. Let's get into game 3. These guys are button clickers. We're not getting a break. All right. This time we do see the Indeedee being led into the Miraidon, and this is going to I think really help Jody. Fleck coming out, a Volt Switch coming out, big damage into this Calyrex. I mean, Jody did just leave his Calyrex susceptible to a Volt Switch Foul Play or something.
Foul Play, yeah. Yep.
And not really getting much value out of it because this Psychic is not doing a ton to this Ditto.
It broke the sash.
True. So now we're going to see this Calyrex Terra, just, again, not clicking Follow Me, really just susceptible to Foul Play. Could just click Follow Me, and also be not have to burn your Terra. Just I don't know. It feels like Terra watering your Calyrex into a Miraidon team is a little dangerous.
Definitely. But when you have double redirection, that's the saving grace for sure.
Mm-hmm. And now here we see him deciding not to take the knockout onto this Grimmsnarl, instead just going for a high horsepower, trying to get 2 KOs in a turn, but taking a lot of damage in response.
Right. I mean, yeah, it can be dangerous to allow another Pokemon to come in a situation like this, and you do cover yourself pretty well. You don't even have to risk the speed tie against the Ditto. The Ditto does have the option to protect. It's copying the Calyrex that is across from it, so it can protect. And it does seem like Jody calls that. He loses the protect speed tie. But obviously that doesn't matter, jokes aside. So,
I mean, listen,
yeah,
Foul Play into the Ogre Pond, KOing yourself with spiky shields. Foul Play a contact move? It is, right? Yeah. KOing yourself with Spiky Shield and then getting a free switch into Miraidon would have been kind of crazy. Would have been game winning.
That would have been pretty cool. All right, yeah, the Cali Ice, it's taken quite a bit of damage now that I think it might just go down to Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. That's part of the issue here.
Yeah.
But if the Urshifu doesn't go for a defensive Terra, then it's just going to get dunked by a Power Whip. Maybe not because the Reflect is up. Yeah, I don't know. This looks pretty difficult because getting through the full HP Terra Fairy Miraidon's going to be tough. Double protecting there.
Why?
I guess to try to force Urshifu to get sacked, or Ogerpon to get sacked.
Oh, okay.
It ends up surviving.
Yeah, that's it. He needed to lose one of these Pokemon, but
even then, I'm not really sure if it went the distance.
I mean, he could have followed me, and then he would have died, right?
Yeah.
Or he could have
Landorus. Oh, that was a very strange endgame. I don't know exactly what line Jody saw there, but if you just
they say baiting Ursh protect.
I guess, yeah, for sure. But I think the Ursh just lived. Reflect was up. Reflect was gotten up on turn 1 of the game, so I think it just survived. Especially because this is a bulky Ursh.
Show me the health stats. Oh, it's just full. Oh yeah, it totally survives. Right?
Yeah, there's I don't even have to guess that one. That's Urshifu's got a good amount of physical defense, so Reflect is going to back that up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just that was his out, right? He didn't see another way to win.
For sure.
Yeah, just definitely a tough spot to be in. I don't know. I feel like there might have been another way to get there, but this was the turn that I saw on Play Pokemon Twitter where they were like, Jody, don't you know you can't protect in front of Urshifu? And it's like, come on.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal.
All right. There's Jody.
True. The losers interview.
All right.
Okay, so this one, it's Yosuke
versus Tang. Was that it? Or was this Eden?
I can't remember.
So this is is this Hirafumi's team except without Nevermelt Ice? Am I calling that correctly?
The thing is that there's a slight change. Like there's some set changes and also a mon change. That's the thing. Is that
okay?
Funnily enough, Kylan ran Cornerstone on a team with 5 of these Pokemon. Kylan ran Amoonguss and had the same 5. Hirofumi had Cornerstone in the same 5. The missing piece of the puzzle is that both of them had Raging Bolt.
I see.
And so this is running double redirection in place of Raging Bolt.
Okay. And on the other side, I didn't get to see the team preview, but we see Eden on Calm Mind Kyogre with Basque Legion.
Dude,
the sweeper.
Calm Mind Kyogre with the Reg H Warriors. I mean, Basque Legion and Archaludon. This is awesome. Just found out that Pelipper got an upgrade.
Eden did not win their regional with.
Eden did not use
Rain.
No.
But traditionally, Kyogre quite favored into Calyrex size teams, but this is
Adi,
a very offensive team.
Can you pause to humor Nick really quick? I need to know the answer too.
What did Nick say?
Text or voice?
Just like open the picture.
If you click on the image and hit open link, it should work.
Okay, can do that.
All right, chat, play along. I mean, if you've seen the answer, I guess you might already know. But yeah, I guess the restricted is the challenge at hand here. I feel like I gotta know the answer. Like, I'll guess first. Is it Terapagos?
It is not Turtle.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, Turtle's the only Pokemon we've seen on Klefki teams. The other 3, like Mienshao is on Calyrex Shadow teams, and you could use Jugulus on those. We've seen Jugulus on Miraidon teams, I think. No, we saw it on Kyogre teams. Okay, I'm going to guess Kyogre. I think Kyogre makes the most sense.
You're closer. The answer is, in fact, a Groudon.
Okay.
Someone in chat got it, I think.
Yeah. Now, shout-outs to Mr. Flums.
Nice.
Yeah, this made day 2. It's coaching on the Mienshao. It's Trailblaze Ogerpon.
Okay.
Now, I will say this is obviously pretty strange looking, but not entirely novel because Wait, where is Groudon, dude? I can't find Groudon. Oh, the search doesn't work for Groudon. There it is. Jugulus. Yeah, Jugulus was used at the World Championships.
Yeah.
Jugulus Groudon. So, Jugulus Groudon, Hearth Flame, and Raging Bolt. So 4 are the same Pokemon. The problem is that the other 2 Pokemon were not exactly one-for-ones. They took out Iron Hands and Urshifu and made it a Mienshao and a Klefki, and that does not, instantly translate. So that's pretty funny. I think Adi had to step away, so Nick and I are going to be stuck here, not watching the game, but also, just having to talk about a team that we've already talked about. So I'm looking around for other things to mention. I mean, looking at the results though,
at the World Championships. So
what's up?
I'm a big fan of running Klefki at the World Championships, so I can vouch.
Done
it twice.
Been there. It's true. I mean, yep. Yep. I'm trying to see. Wow, that Zamazenta team that Elizabeth made has at least 2 7-1s. That's pretty crazy.
That's impressive.
So I do have to go. And so since we haven't really gotten into this game, Alex, did you want to cover the last 2 rounds? Or what? What do we want to do?
Sure.
So I think what's going to happen. We can stay live until you get everything set up. But what's going to happen if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to switch over to Twitch because Alex is going to be streaming on Twitch and I have to run. We really thought that round 8 would end earlier, so we were going to plan on starting stream earlier. Alex woke up early to start stream earlier, and then the tournament just kept going and going and going. So,
if I hit go live, does it kidnap it?
I don't think so. I think I have to end.
Oh, I thought you could take over.
But yeah, just let me know when you're ready, and I will end the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, go watch on Twitch if you want to watch live. I'll leave the VODs up for YouTube, but yeah, it's only obviously we're going to be missing round 6 and 7, so you're gonna have to watch that on Twitch. And then tomorrow, I think we'll be doing this again. Sometime in the afternoon I'll start. So yeah, it should be fun.
I'm good to go, Audie. I'll piece it together on stream. I don't really mind it, but there's no reason to keep you here. I can just hit go live and then set up my visuals and everything. It's easy. So
all right, guys, switch over to Twitch.